Okay, so some of us listening out there at this present moment in time might be contemplating over a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or planning their future grocery list. Let's talk about some ways to save with the stuff you might already have or what you plan to get in the not so distant future. Back in a minute. Hey, good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City. I love helping people keep some more of their own hard-earned money. How you doing this morning? Hope that this audio video, as always, finds everybody doing well. If there's any one part of budgeting that I really love to have fun with, and I know that sounds silly, but it's the stuff that like discretionary spending. Okay, that's like a fun area. And grocery savings too, it's a fun area. Because why? Because there is so much flexibility as opposed to the parts of the budget that are absolutely not negotiable at all whatsoever. So the good news is, because we do have a couple of areas where we can be flexible and spread our flexible muscles in the shopping arena. I think one of the things that we're all capable of doing is being able to slow down on spending. But the trick is, you want to eat well and live well and feel as if you have a lot of it without spending as much as one might think they need to spend. So I have a few tricks up my sleeve that I believe there's 6 simple tips actually to help slow down spending on some foods for recipes at the grocery store. Okay, so let's go back to a simple box cake mix, for example. Let's say that box cake mix you can get on sale for, I'm just using this number as a figure, 99 cents. Now, if you study a box of cake mix, you can generally get 2 layers of cake. You can make 2 layers of cake that many people eat as one. They put the 2 layers on top of each other. I don't do that for too many reasons. One, I make the whole thing. Yes, you can make the whole thing. You can make the 2 layers, okay? However, each layer is its own separate cake. So, for example, literally, I am getting 2 cakes for the price of one. Plus that, not only is it more economical, but it's less calories because you're only eating half. This, in my opinion, there's no reason for the second layer, because to me, the second layer is just an excuse to have more frosting or topping or a glaze over it. That's just my opinion. Does anybody out there agree with me on this? If you made 2 layers, 2 separate cakes. You could freeze the other one for the future, then just take it down as you need it. Especially convenient when you have unexpected company. And another tip, you don't have to use canned frosting either. You can learn easily how to make your own frostings and easily to make the glaze. My mom, and I've done this myself, and it comes out really, really good. 2 simple ingredients, like really confectionery sugar. You could get optionally. Now I eyeball it, and usually I'll use like not a lot at all, maybe like a half a tablespoon or a teaspoon of either freshly squeezed lemon or orange juice. The orange juice you already have done. The orange one is quite good. Everybody seems to veer to the lemon, which is great. But if you want something a little different, you could use the orange juice and the confectionery sugar. I mean, more than likely, you have everything already. And even if you don't have confectionery sugar, as long as you have a little bit of a blender, you could throw in your granulated sugar in there and pulverize it, and voila, you have your powdered sugar. There you go. So you can make your own delicious glaze like that. If you do get the can of frosting, you can use much, much less. You could literally, if you take the one single layer, like I'm suggesting, you could literally use like a quarter of a can for each of those. So, this is an example of, well, having your cake and eating it too, a great way to slow down on the spending. All right, so that's really, really delicious. So, okay, next. A simple pound of ground beef works wonders. How many of us out there like to have some browned ground beef, but we use it for different reasons? You could take a browned ground beef, okay, and divide it up in two quarters and wrap it up and freeze it up and just take down the quarters as necessary. Consider using that type of meat, for example, as a flavoring agent. For example, it goes very, very well if you're making your own meat sauce, you just have that readily available. Or if you're making your own sloppy Joe, you could add your own spices, give it its own unique flavor. You could just reheat it, put it on a hamburger bun, and melt a slice of cheese over that ground beef. It is so good. You could come up with different things. You could sprinkle it over macaroni and cheese. I just mentioned four different meals that stretch out. I know you guys have more suggestions. Let me know in the comments section below. Next, we can learn how to make, for example, simple gravies at home. We don't have to rely. I know that sometimes it's just so much faster. Just open up that little pouch or break open a jar or open up a can of those little gravies. Yes, it is convenient and to everything a price. If you're getting a fantastic price on those items, hey, go for it. But it's not a bad idea to learn how easy and simple it is to make your own, like roux, for example, like a basis for a white sauce, for example. So easy. You could get these recipes online. Just so easy. Why not check them out? Next, if you happen to like actual hot dogs, and if you happen to get them on sale now with the summer holidays fast approaching, this is the time of the year that I strongly suggest you check out hot dogs. Good quality hot dogs. Well, that's my taste talking there. Hot dogs make a great meal accent or filler or the actual meal itself. Well, here's an example of it being an accent, a pop of flavor. You won't even believe it, but it tastes really good. I like to take a Frankfurter, a good quality one. Then I'll cut it up while it is still frozen into very thin slices. Little circles will come from it. And then what I do is I render it on a little bit of a simmer. I mean, not with water. I shouldn't say simmer, on a low flame, like sort of in a frying pan in a skillet, and I let it get nice and blackened a little bit. I love to throw that either in an omelet. Yum. That is really quite good. I surprised myself. Or as a pop of flavor instead of pepperoni. Let's suppose that you're making your own from scratch pizza and you don't necessarily want pepperoni, but you want a little bit of a protein boost with meat. That thinly cut up Frankfurter, if you darken it up, oh my word, that tastes really, really good on top of a pizza. Who doesn't like pizza and frankfurters together? It actually tastes pretty good. All right, some people may not like it, but for the ones that might like it, give this idea a whirl. Very, very inexpensive. Okay, next. Here's a really inexpensive way to let flavor go. It's all about the flavor, and some foods are just so chock full of flavor, and they are still very relatively inexpensive. If you could find a good price on bell peppers, now I know the red ones, they could be expensive, but sometimes you may catch it on manager special, and if you do, get them. Cut up either a red or a green or a yellow or orange bell pepper. You don't need to buy all of them. Even one will do for an entire week. Cut it up into teensy weensy pieces. Don't laugh. And then you could freeze it and use it as you need it. You could sprinkle that into an omelet. You could use it quickly in a sauce. You could use it towards making, don't even need a lot because those items are packed with flavor. That's the whole idea. an inexpensive way to actually share some flavor, and it really works out. I have done this. It's a great flavoring agent into sauces as well as the omelets, like I mentioned before. You could have it over rice, yum, or in a pasta salad. The sky is the limit. Really, go for the gold and get yourself one of those. I'm telling you. Next, easy peasy shepherd's pie. Who likes shepherd's pie? Well, I do. And for those that like it, hey, listen, this is a great way to use up all those leftover mashed potatoes that you made from scratch. That's just kind of sort of just sitting in the fridge. We don't like food waste. I'm telling you, shepherd's pie is a great way to go whenever you have leftover made from scratch mashed potatoes. However, if you want to go a very fast, inexpensive, different way out, I think it would work. I'm not positive, so I think it couldn't hurt to try with the instant mash. It's not going to be exactly the same as the one from scratch, but if you have it ready, or if you don't mind making mashed potatoes from scratch earlier in the day, let them cool off in your refrigerator, and then you put together your favorite ingredients on the bottom. There's a shortcut trick you could do. You could do, like, for example, a sloppy Joe. If you get the cans of sloppy joe that are already done up, you could put that on the bottom of, let's say, an 8 by 8 pan, and you can throw your mashed potatoes and spread it nicely and neatly on the top as a cover. And you could even optionally, if you wish, put on some shredded cheddar cheese above that. To me, this spells comfort food at its finest and at its easiest. Another option is to get a can, let's say, of those chunky soups, like those, like sirloin one, or whatever flavor you want. It could even be chicken. It could even be vegetable if you want your whole meal entirely as a vegetarian style type meal. And you can make your shepherd's pie just like that. Who says cheaper costing eating has to be boring or has to cost you a ton of time, effort, and energy? I don't believe it does. And with all these tricks and tips, I know it'll work out. You know what I think? I think we should take a little bit of a break to clear our mind. Be right back. I love that. That is so amazing. Everyone should take a minute to clear their mind. Okay, so I gave you a whole bunch of great tips today, and I really appreciate it. If you would do the following for me, I have a goal since 5 is my lucky number, and it will be exactly 5 years ago on July 22nd that I started this channel. I would love to be not only 5,000 subscribers, but beyond that. Let's see if we can make that happen. How can we make that happen? By sharing my videos. Hopefully, somebody out there can use them that you know. And thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Have an amazing, fantastic day, everybody, and take good care. Bye bye.